I cannot have you winning this.
Oh, where I said I can't wait to see where this is going, you actually exceeded my expectations.
Mayo experience.
Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Mayo experience. Experience.
Welcome to the Pat Mayo Experience, presented by Underdog Fantasy. Code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now. Get you a deposit bonus of up to $250. Travelers Championship picks, bets, one and done plus. We got to talk about the U.S. Open. Geoff, I'm sorry you have to do this so quickly to such a heartbreaking loss. I'm sorry.
I'm okay.
That's good.
Like, it was a big bet for me. Like, from an outright golf perspective, I actually think it was the most I ever risked on a golfer. Like, truly. And I got a bet 365 boost up to 19.5 to 1, but they only let me put 160 on it. So I just almost doubled that wager at the 12 to 1. Like, I was just in big. For an outright golfer, it was like just really big. Not in terms of return, because, but one. Anyhow, I know after saying that, you're really not going to believe me, but it's not about the fucking money. It isn't. Like, I'm a fan, and it's another selfish reason. If you've noticed on the show for like the last month, I've really galvanized behind Rory. I've never truly been a Rory guy. I've accused him of talking out of both sides of his mouth. I've sympathized for him for the physical and emotional energy that the last year took from him. But like once he made a right turn and wanted back involved on the policy board and pieces, and I don't remember who's all on the board, but like to hear that people like Kevin fucking Streelman were like telling him to fuck off, and people like Patrick Cantley were telling him to go away, and a long list of PGA Tour goobers were like giving Rory a middle finger after he literally stood on the front line. Like, I don't know, is it Mel Gibson or Jon Snow with the sword, like on the front line? And they just, and my whole Monahan thing. So it was just really like me having galvanized behind him and wanting this moment in the 1-year anniversary of Monahan leaving with this fucking tummy ache. So that was the selfishness for me, being able to like gloat about that. But I'm like just crushed. I'm crushed for him. As like a sports fan, I was like, when that happened to DJ, I didn't have children yet, and my wife came home from, I think she was up north, and she'd leave me alone on major weekends, and it's fun to think about life without children. I was just like dead. I was dead. Like, you could have drawn like a chalk line around me. Like when she walked in, like maybe a half hour later, I was still just lying there. After this one, just went swimming with my kids, had fun, but the hurt for Rory, the pain on Rory's face, wanting it so bad for Rory. We can talk about the great moments in the round on both sides. It was fabulous. I was enthralled. But yeah, just the whole sports, how to recover, like, it just seems so painful for him to do all he did that whole day and to miss those putts. Like, and I'll tell you, I actually got the most a bit emotional last night when people were criticizing Rory for not talking to the media. This guy has said so much. He says more than anybody. After it all, we don't you guys don't even make your politicians talk to media. And we're going to give Rory a hard time for not talking to the media after yesterday, a guy that is always so open and forthright. And when he shows up to the Travelers, assuming he's showing up to the Travelers, he will sit there and he will give people the time. So I thought that was so incredibly unfair, and people stalking him last night, almost like, I don't know, I heard some stories that people were following his car to the airport like it was an OJ I love Bryson. That's why it's not even close to like a Spieth thing, because I did not like Jordan at that time. I didn't. I was like disgusted at the champion. And I wanted 18 holes on Monday to bump our show. And I think about that all the time. But yeah, well, I'll be thinking about this for a while. I can't, Pat, in any sport, like when guys are like, he's all-time great, not all-time great. That's four majors. You're really on a high level. In any sport, have we ever seen we've seen players fuck up. We've seen players trying to get their fuck up, players trying to get monkeys off their back fuck up. Have we ever seen a player who's in that level of a pantheon fuck up at that level of a moment? I'm trying to think. And I'm sure someone's got an interception for me in a Super Bowl or a goalie or I don't know, man. I can't think of any all-time great. That maybe there's a line, people yell at me for saying that, but you know what I mean? Like of that status, like a truly cemented hardcore champion, not like Mick Foley level hardcore champion, but come on, like don't fucking get into semantics with me here, people. Have we ever seen someone gaff like that who is as got all that? Like, I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Like the only thing I can think of from a golf perspective, I guess, is when Norman blew it at the Masters, because Norman was kind of like that guy at the time, but I mean, it was well before we were really paying attention.
Yeah, Norman had won, not like Norman never won a major, so it's not like he was, obviously the Masters is a bit different, but yeah, I guess in a golf sense, they were so good. Bryson making pars from the trees, Rory hitting the 20-footers. It was just such a fun fucking day. And then it felt like he pulled away. People say it was a 2-stroke lead. Like, yes, it was a 2-stroke lead. But even at that moment in my head, I'm like, I'm not calling it a 2-stroke lead till Bryson plays 13, which is very gettable for, like, it's like, once he gets through 13, then we can quantify what the lead is. But he had it. He had it with 3-foot putts. And it was ours, and we could have celebrated the great moment. Instead, it's Bryson's, and he's owning it, and it's beautiful, and so many people were on him, and congratulations to all of you. That's such a lovely hit. And so few of us were on Rory, like on the tips checker. It would have been a fun small hit, and whatever. Yeah, now I got to make travelers bets.
As someone who didn't have money on Rory or Bryson, because, I'm a loser who picks guys who lose all the time. Because, when we were watching it, I think they had said through 10 holes, that the only two players inside the top 10 who had not yet made a birdie in the final round was Bryson and, of course, Hideki, who just couldn't get off the ground on Sunday. I was hoping for like a Riviera-type charge from him. He just couldn't putt.
Couldn't putt. He was either he was doing it right. He was saving the pars, but nowhere early could he hit the 18-footers. And obviously they weren't really showing shots, but if you tracked him, you saw it was like 18 feet, 22 feet. He couldn't get the par, the birdie to get the day going. And even later, maybe it was on 9, he goes into the bunker. It's like, well, this is the moment. This is where he chips in to then start nuclear Hideki mode. But he didn't make the 5-footer. He didn't make the 5-footer there.
He was still good to me, though. He cashed his top 8. I walked away with a win. That's always nice. And Tommy, the gold bet on the Best Bet show, Tommy top 20. What a Sunday for Tommy. Count on him. Bet him in his head-to-head every Sunday at every U.S. Open if he's still there.
Yeah, he was good. Tommy was really good Saturday. It was an even par. I only know it because I made, just to track early, I actually made a Tommy over Brooks Saturday bet just so I like track. I'd feel something, but also like when you're tracking, you're like, okay, they're here, and then see like could he get up, and good players, great US Open players, like where are they saving par from? Can they save par from? When they got it here, how close can they get it? So yes, it was like multi-purpose track to give me like just a feeling for the day and just a good matchup, whatever. It wasn't the Morikawa 4-under Saturday, but he really did play some lovely golf. And I had a Hatton versus Spieth head-to-head tournament matchup that I ended up having to sweat a little yesterday, which was kind of funny considering they're like 9 apart when Hatton teed off. I don't know, a lot to unpack. I thought it was a great week. I thought the course kind of played the same every day, which was truly beautiful in some ways. Like it just always played consistently hard every day, except yesterday. It felt like every day there was Rory had that fucking, but there was a 4 under. It seemed like every single day. I guess Henley may have gotten it yesterday. But other than that, the scoring average was really hard. I didn't think they like super gigged it out at any point on the week. Like at no point on the weekend did it feel like it was playing harder than it did on Thursday or Friday, which you could say is a complaint, but I think they just had it at a nice level and they didn't want to tinker with a line because they probably had it in a great place, and credit to them. And there's maybe like a longer conversation at a different time that we could make about the anchor sites and how that's truly going to be a big part of the US Open in the future and how they're making like true investments into these anchor sites. Which is also why when we want the Canadian Open to move, it's like, oh, they're trying to find their own anchor sites. And in some ways you see why, and in some ways you don't like it. I thought it was a great week. Like other than Bryson, like Johnson Wagner might have had a better 2024 than Bryson. Like Bryson was already a gazillionaire. Johnson Wagner, Pat, I think has literally gotten himself like a good golf media job almost for 8 years before he's even criticized. Not to say he'd be worthy of it. I'm just saying like he's like the backup quarterback who came in to play the games, had an amazing month, and now he just cemented his next decade of high quality backup pay in the league. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he's good. He's in. A lot of performance this guy deals out, let alone the bunker shot. Pros are 4 out of 100. Johnson Wagner, the yips.
It's a good thing. Bryson coached him up to hit the second one that close. It's probably a good thing Rory didn't come out to help him line up the putt, though, right?
Good one. It was under the fucking hole. Whatever. It was perfect. It was so beautiful. There are a couple the par saves from Bryson. Like I said, the par saves from Bryson, the perfection of golf that Rory McIlroy played. He was perfect. The one spot of trouble he found on the 15, he's like, you know what? This is bad. I'm going to take my medicine. Just taking my medicine. I'm thinking about when his ball skirted the bunker on 6, it didn't fall in it like Cantley's did, or the par 5, where it was like a foot from an eagle putt, and Bryson's in a bush like this. It's all in my head. It's all kind of spinning. It's beautiful. We'll look at it forever. I'm actually most sad. In the same way, like we hyper rarely see the DJ putt anymore. Like it hyper rarely gets brought into a broadcast. The fact of how much I'm going to have to look at that Rory putt probably for a really, really long time. Like that is going to be on standby in the truck for a long time. And that's what annoys me the most on Monday morning is not just it happened. It's going to live, clearly. It was like it's just gonna live. I'm not gonna be able to avoid having to watch it again.
Well, the other big Rory collapse that kind of sticks out in everyone's mind was the 80 on Sunday at the Masters, and then he came back and won at Congressional the very next major. So maybe he puts us all behind him 4 weeks from now at Troon and wins that. That would be a nice conclusion to this story.
It would be beautiful. It truly would be beautiful. I'll have to just clap for it. I can't bet it. I'm just going to be on... But what I want to counter that with, and sort of a fair and balanced counter, Pat, is that was ugly. The lifetime of like scar tissue hadn't built up yet. So, right? Like he didn't even want a major when he did that.
Correct.
So it just... whatever. He was so beautiful around the greens all week. I watched a lot of golf.
So did I. So I was in this weird position where I didn't know who I was rooting for the entire Sunday because I like Rory, I like Bryson. I just wanted some good golf. It sucks that it ended like that. That's not how I wanted to see it go down. But I think that we should probably kind of reverse it too with Bryson. Like we talked about how not easy that up and down was, and he made it look pretty simple and made the putt at the same time. Like he had one fuck up all day when he finally 3-putted, but he was just nails with everything. Even like as much as Brandel wants to say he got every break possible in the Wiregrass, it's still fucking hard to hit out of there. No one else all week could seemingly hit out of there.
Yeah, but I saw a lot of like in the golf I watched, it seemed like the good breaks were more likely than the bad breaks.
Agreed. Pavone got some bad breaks in the Wiregrass on
Some
Sunday.
guys got bad breaks. Hovland got a horrific one on Thursday early in his round, which clearly sent him spiraling and just could never get it back on track. And I'm sure if you got the horrific one, it did tilt you a bit. But as someone that watched like truly an egregious amount of golf, probably from the afternoon wave Thursday, I watched a ton. I like just almost everything. Embarrassing level, to be honest. I felt way more it was almost like 65-30, like 65-35 you were going to get a good break in the Wiregrass. Maybe 70-30. I mean that. Like a ball where you could put into a spot onto the green, because even guys who are in the fairway were still like not hitting the greens anyway. Like there are a lot of times, I'm sure if you bet matchups, you're like, oh, my guy's in the fairway, their guy's in the Wiregrass. In the end, my dude had the dude in the Wiregrass had like a shorter par putt on the hole by the time it all worked out. But yeah, Bryson, I don't know. It got to the point where I wasn't even hearing like what the broadcast was saying. I was just tilted by the true amount of commercial load, the true amount. I wanted, and this was before I was even saying to a buddy, before Bryson had that. I saw someone tweet this. It went quite viral, and I liked it, and I laughed. The absolute. I don't even know why I shouldn't even be laughing about it, because it was beautiful and weird in some way, but it's also like what makes Bryson incredible. What a king alpha move into signing the kid or the young man with disabilities hat, like just mid-round walking to the hole. But I wanted to see Rory walk, not to see him give people high fives, but I wanted to see Rory like just the walks between holes. I don't know. They didn't it was just so many commercials. But yeah, Bryson, he's just the fucking man. He's so cool.
Wow. Let's pump the brakes on how cool Bryson is.
No, cool's the wrong word. It's like cool's the wrong word. He's just so like owning his moment, but I don't think he knows. I tweeted this morning, Pat, because it was before the round on Sunday. Kiki Van Valkenburg at No Laying Up wrote a lovely article. Even before the week, he wrote this great article in every single Rory major that like just how the lead-in felt. And then Saturday night, he wrote the piece on how this will be like a crowning moment potentially for Bryson and all that's been built up to it. And then Tron, the one No Laying Up guy, I actually don't mind, tweeted that he can't help but feel Bryson is still just like a malcontent and the biggest phony. I don't believe that. Like, I truly believe he is, and this only makes sense to people who know the show. I truly believe his brain works like Sheldon Cooper. Like, he has, like, it's just like for golf. Like, he doesn't know when he's being a cornball. Like, he's kind of got socially awkward things going on. The true phony, and it's unfortunate that, like, I don't know why this feels like a shot, because it is a shot, but I'm just trying to make a comparison. By comparison, I feel Brooks is such a bigger phony than Bryson. And this is to take nothing away from on golf course achievement. This is just a personality critique from me, minor in psychology. Okay? And if I had to do the McDonald's challenge, I'd probably just sit there all day doing amateur psychologist on everyone that walked in. But I'd be the weirdo who was sitting there for 24 fucking hours. So joke's on me. Back to Brooks. The guy who says I only practice at golf tournaments is the phony. Netflix showed in some ways how vulnerable he is, even for an alpha, how vulnerable he is like all humans, but even for an alpha, who they believe they're like stronger than some of the things that can carry down all humans, kind of showed how vulnerable he can be at times. And him to come back from that is incredible and beautiful, and what he did last year and how awesome he is. But the guy who says I only practice at golf tournaments is the one living the act. Not Bryson. Not Bryson. That's my opinion of it.
Programming note, this show will not air Monday next week. This show will air Tuesday next week. So, Geoff, I'm letting you know that we're recording on Tuesday morning next week because next Monday, Geoff, the Custys will be released.
It's a heavy load. Sort of like the commercial load. That's big.
It is.
That's
so
big.
That's
big. What tournament is next week?
Rocket Mortgage.
Good call.
Yeah. So yeah, Custys next week. I'm in London this week, and I get back like late on Sunday night. It's like, just give me a day of rest to get back with the jet lag, so we can do a real show for the Rocket Mortgage. Yeah. Tambo's going to be there competing for $1 million. We still have those giveaway winners to do. I'll do that tomorrow.
That's a funny event
I'll do that tomorrow with Tambo to figure that out. But I do have the giveaway winners for the Pat Mayo Experience U.S. Open draws. The winner of the $500 was Jason Lustbader. He already got his $500. And the two Fantasy National winners was Happy_Laura 13 and the Comedy Mogul. That's his name. I don't need voice messaging. That's at Dear something or other. I sent them both DMs. So you both won Fantasy National memberships. You get back to me with your emails. Boom. You'll get your free year of Fantasy National. I want to congratulate those winners. We'll give away the cut of Tambo's 5% at the Fantasy Golf World Championships on Tuesday's show. What were you going to say?
It's funny they do it in Detroit, but I guess why not? We need I wish I was waking up to a jabroni field, Pat. I don't even know if the odds were good or bad, but I kind of, my stomach turned a bit having to gotta do this. These good players are here again. Rory's gonna win Olympic gold. He's gonna not win a major. He's gonna do something cheese or win this week. Oh my God, I'll throw up.
Let me ask you this. Have you ever been on a bachelor party with one of your friends and all your friends are there, but also the fiance's brother or one of her friends is also there and they don't know anyone?
Where this is going.
Have you ever experienced that? Because I have.
Of course.
All the... Yeah. You're worried that that guy's going to rat everyone out the entire time. There's no trust with that guy. Not usually the best dude either. That was Patrick Cantlay all day Sunday. I was like, go the fuck away, man. I cannot have you winning this.
Oh, where I said I can't wait to see where this is going, you actually exceeded my expectations. What a fucking comp. Because I'm thinking about being on those trips. It's fucking Patrick Cantlay standing in the corner of the room. Like a creep. What are you doing here? Oh my God. I didn't think I was going to cry today, but you might have just made me. Oh. That was so good, Pat.
Couldn't have him win.
Yeah.
And he had nothing on Saturday whatsoever and just managed to stick around. He had nothing through 4 holes on Sunday. And then all of a sudden he found his irons. But then at least all of a sudden he couldn't make any putts. But I just wanted him to go away so badly. I would have preferred Pavon win than Patrick Cantlay. Although I do think playing with Cantlay helped Rory, because Rory usually plays so fast, and then he usually gets a case of the lefts with his irons. Patrick Cantlay's horrendously slow pace, I think, helped out Rory calm down a little bit for the majority of the round.
And I'm not going to lie, just because it was I like you, I don't like him, I actually was... which I thought was a bad number. I laid -180 Rory versus Cantlay yesterday. Just because I felt I had to. I could see why Rory playing with Cantley helped for a couple reasons, even if he had to turn that into his own little battle. And yes, as someone with a Hideki ticket, with obviously a Rory ticket, when the day started, my headspace was I need Bryson, like I want Bryson to eject, but anyone but Cantley. Like anyone but Cantley. I that would have been the complete opposite. I'd have probably, if like Rory did what he did versus Cantley and it was Cantley who won, that'd have been, nothing could have been worse. And I don't even know why, but I have just like Cantley's a whipping boy and a white van serial killer. I don't trust him for multiple reasons.
I was
Getting married the day after the Ryder Cup. You should never win anything.
it was surprising to me that Bryson, because usually like when Bryson's running good, Bryson runs good. He kind of builds off that momentum. He like didn't have his best stuff at all on Sunday, and he was able to overcome it, which I was kind of surprised about, which was truly impressive. Like obviously he's won 2 US Opens now, so maybe I should expect that more from him. But you know, when he's hitting 10 of 14 fairways and average driving distance of 350, not when he's hitting 5 of 14 fairways, hitting from the wire grass and having to scramble the entire time. It was super impressive. I was shocked he was able to keep a level head the entire time and just kind of laugh off some bad drives when he didn't have it.
Well said. I mean, because if you had watched a lot of this tournament, you really saw Bryson, the driver was phenomenal, and it led to a lot of clean, makeable birdie putts. And when he got into that sort of 10 to 14 foot birdie putt range, he was quite strong in it throughout the course of the tournament. What happened yesterday is the driver wasn't off. It led to maybe only one of those birdie putts, which was a downhill one. He had to play really soft early in that round, and he couldn't get anything going and just made a couple great par saves. Clearly never had any form of like a double on Sunday or a blow up like that, which was truly impressive. And in some ways, like super high end elite fashion, Pat, he made his double on Saturday, like we've seen Scheffler do times throughout the season in the tournaments he won. And then he followed it right back up with a birdie, a great like 13-foot birdie putt. On that note, Pat, speaking of bounce back, my boy Ludwig made 2 triples. He followed both of them up with birdies. I don't know what that's worth, but I just like, okay, thanks for getting one back, friend. And I'm an apologist. He could have shot 80-80 on the weekend. I'd have found a way to make an excuse. Like, we're still so fresh in this, and he's coming for everyone, and they're all fucked sooner than later.
Well, this is a conversation that we had on the Cut Sweat Show. So shout out to everyone who tuned into the Cut Sweat Show, because I thought it was probably our best Cut Sweat show ever. It was just a lot of fun, a lot of engagement, a lot of rating, great ratings, a lot of comments, and DGen75 hopped on with me, you, and Cust to talk it through. It was just a ton of fun. But I posed that question to you. It's like, what happens when Ludwig gets punched in the mouth once here over the weekend? What happens to him then? And you said the bounce back was there, but he wasn't able to start reeling everything off. It seemed like it did shake him a little bit.
Absolutely. And then when he got into that spot on Saturday, we had just watched Rory and Finau battle it, and maybe even Cantley. So you're like, oh no, he's in the exact same spot, and scrambling isn't like the true forte for Ludwig. That is something that will come, certainly. And he got, then he got again early. He didn't eject, like fully eject like other players. But he couldn't recover. Those were irrecoverable triples. The guys who won, I guess Bryson did make a double. Like, credit to his Saturday. His Saturday was so outlier. It was freaking amazing. And in terms of like the late tee times, I know Morikawa had a beautiful round as well. Yeah, just it's all part. And I know everyone, like, you're supposed to be like Spieth or Morikawa, and we've seen guys win right away. So the second you don't win right away, it's like, why aren't you winning the major right away? Let's literally acknowledge he's played in 3 majors, 3. And a Ryder Cup, which in terms probably felt as big in terms of like a heartbeat, but still, like, we're gonna get these suckers, and I've got to say, it's done. I don't have anything anymore, and I'll never get one again. Not to say I won't bite the bullet at the ridiculous prices in the coming majors, but 100 to 1 at the first two, 66 this week. Like those will be like he'll be 80 years old when he has a number like that again. So yeah.
Let me throw this out to you because I was trying to think about what it does more for. Do you think Bryson winning encourages anyone to watch LIV this week? Or do you think that it just gets people to tune into Bryson's YouTube channel?
I think more people will like to say no one would watch. I think would be silly.
But
So it's clearly
because it wasn't framed like when Brooks won the PGA Championship last year, it was a very much framed like he was a LIV guy coming back. I never really got that sense. At least, I mean, it was a good job by the broadcast, their pro PGA framing it that way, but you never really heard LIV come up at all.
And I need to give you credit for this, Pat, because even before Bryson had this great spring into like this great last month and a half rejuvenation, big stage play, you for the longest time have made note that of all like the talking points, the Phil Mickelson LIV talking points about using your likeness, about building your brand, about all those sorts of things, that they said to go with the I'm trying to grow the game fucking bullshit. Bryson's the only guy that actually followed through on that shtick. They're like, no, now that I'm here, I can use my own like my likeness is mine. It doesn't belong. I can show whatever I want. I can be whatever I want. I don't got to answer to a dipshit like Kevin Streelman if I do something he doesn't like, or any policy board dipshit. Now, granted, I'd have to answer to a Saudi, but my point being, he's the only guy, and you said it, who was truly going all in with their branding. John Rahm went. He didn't start no fucking YouTube page to be like, let's get to meet John Rahm. Brooks Koepka doesn't do a YouTube page. Brooks is fun. He's engaging. He can be self-deprecating. The Smash GC Twitter is great. It brings humor. They've probably got a real social media kid on it. Good for them. Good for them. But Bryson's the only one that did it. And I said it from going. I said it many times. He's also the only one at the first time he was asked about why he went to LIV. He mentioned things he was going to do with the money. Like how beautiful it is, the donation he gave, to the cause his father passed for, or, building the Boys and Girls Club for people locally in where he's from in Dallas. I want to say, like, I didn't hear it. No one else said anything about what they're doing. They just said they're trying to grow the game. Bryson, I don't think ever said he's trying to grow the game. Now, he did make an insane pizza shop analogy that he said something stupid and we'll make fun of him for it. And we'll do that again in the future. I have no doubts. But Bryson actually did things. He didn't even say I'm trying to grow the game. He just grew the game.
Do you think it works to his newfound?
It's like the guy saying I'm the smartest in the room. No, the person who's the smartest in the room is never the smartest in the room. The person who's the funniest never has to tell anyone he's the funniest in the room. Everyone just knows he's the fucking funniest in the room. Doesn't tell anyone. I don't think Bryson told us once he's going to grow the game. He just fucking grew the game. The guys that told us they were going to grow the game, that's just what they say. They're just trying to be that guy.
Do you think it works to his advantage right now that he's on LIV for the overall audience? Since most people only tune into majors anyway, because there was a lot of clamors like, oh, we need all the best players back because Bryson, this, and this. I actually think it works out better for him that we don't see him that often.
That was a talking point out of the PGA.
I think it's true.
When
we saw him every week, it kind of got grating and people turned against him. And now that we don't see him, we get to see him in limited doses. It's a lot of fun.
Okay. I'm not saying we wouldn't be better served to have more Bryson, but I think most people would agree what we wouldn't want. Hear me out, friends. What wouldn't be ideal? Is this. And this is what the fucking PGA Tour has given us. Bryson wouldn't be good in this format. Not that he wouldn't win. Memorial, US Open, fucking Travelers. To your point, Pat, in the elevated concept, it would just be this like insane dose, and maybe people would be like, oh, this guy's annoying me or something. Or 3 weeks in a row of Bryson would be like, oh, I don't know. I hate how this PGA format is. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know if it would serve Bryson better or worse. Maybe people would buy in. Maybe people would turn up, like, tune him out. In this moment, it's easy to say that these super small doses are great, but let's be real. Like 4 times a year, I'd also say isn't enough either. It's not enough
Yeah, but
either.
I'll always leave him wanting more. If you think that it's not enough, that's good.
Like the fact that like, Bryson's not on the Olympic team. Bryson's not going to go to the President's Cup. Like these would be the doses to supplement the majors. Then we're at 6. That's perfect. 4, not enough. Not enough. 3 weeks in a row, too much. Too much. I don't know what the balance is. I'm sure there's Bryson hardcores out there. And let me say this, friends. Said a lot. When you're watching a PGA, like when you're watching LIV, at times you just see these guys and they're fucking. I do not like the team golf concept. I don't. I think it'd be in LIV's whatever. I don't need to do this. What I do want to say is you see Bryson out there. So when you watch LIV and you see the guys in their team gear and their team hats, you're like, okay, whatever. That's fine. And then when you watch the PGA, you see the guys in there like, oh, they're shit. But when you see them together at the same time, and you watch Bryson DeChambeau hit a shot, and it's crushers, you're like, okay, fine. Like it doesn't. And then the next player you see is Patrick Cantlay, and it's like Apache, DeWalt, Delta. Like it's like holy shit. The team kit is actually way far more appealing on my eyes when we're going back and forth than the fucking billboard guy. You know, obviously Rory is lucky to be like a true Nike ambassador, and Nike ambassadors, as they demand, are clean. Like it's a simple, clean. There's no one else getting a spot. But you had these guys like Patrick Cantlay, just the look of it, it's like, oh, like I actually don't mind this fucking team look. I mean that compared to that.
There's different ways you can do it though, because like Max Homa, like even with the MasterCard on his collar, like I actually think that's a sharp look for if you're gonna have logos.
Yeah, I like the double barrel MasterCard there. Some guys do the shoulder, and I'll even as a Vic fanboy, bro, like what sort of discount patch tailor do you go to? Like his patches, he's I can't stand how they crest his sponsors. I cannot stand it. Oh, bothers me. That things I like notice watching all that golf. I thought it was a beautiful week. Credit to the USGA. I think we're back there again soon, so that'll be fun.
2029, so 5 years from now, back at Pinehurst.
Like I guess there's so much to say, but at the same time, what else? Like Scotty,
I got some quick hits for you.
Yeah.
One, I thought they did an okay job of showing that low am matchup. I could have used more of that. Not just like when they hit good shots. I kind of wanted to see how that was progressing on the back nine.
Super cool. I agree, but they had their commercial load.
Okay, why is I mean, I know why. Because more people tune at the end to see what's going on and having the uninterrupted hour. But wouldn't the uninterrupted hour work better when more guys are kind of in it so you can show more, not when there's 2 guys left and you're just fucking watching them walking?
I don't know. It's sort of that point in that head-to-head duel. The walking to me is important, but I get the DFS guy wants to see shots from all the way down the board.
It's not even DFS guy. Like if you're trying to build a story for later on, I mean, maybe they just knew it was going to be Bryson versus Rory, which is what everyone wanted anyway. But if you're going to put stuff on, like playing through earlier was showing key Rory shots without any commentary. We can watch like the walk up and stuff like that during the playing through, during the last hour, if that's going to be the thing. I don't want it to come at the expense of meaningful shots 2 hours before.
Yeah.
But the amateur thing was a really cool storyline, and they were playing together. Which brings me back to the point that I was making on the Cut Sweat show, is that I don't care what the tradition is. Let the broadcast networks determine the final pairings if people are tied. Like, no first in, last out, whatever the hell it is. Just like, oh, Rory and Bryson should be together. Let's put them together.
I mean, the only thing I could see why they don't do that or reason is I think like the players, it could be like, not that they need the players' permission for anything, but I feel like from the players' POV, it would be, how can I get to, like, you need to put me there to grow, like, for any of us to grow.
Then
like,
play,
earn the
then
spot.
play better. Like, if it's Cantlay and Pavon in that, and Cantlay's playing great, they're going to show him. If Pavon had played great yesterday, they wouldn't have taken him off TV.
You know, when he was playing great, we saw pretty much, yeah, we saw every Pavon shot Saturday almost, it felt like. So it's not like when you're not playing well, you wouldn't be on
Look,
on TV.
Finau
I
got,
agree.
Finau got himself
years.
on TV by playing
You know,
great.
Pat, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just trying to think, like, from a player's POV, like, from, like, let's say just I get the majors, but like even your standard PGA event, it seems like this is like a players association maybe thing where they want a fair and balanced system to because it is kind of like a reward in some ways. I agree with you. And I feel like we've been talking about this for years. And at times it almost felt like the European tour was doing exactly what we wanted. Because I felt like they didn't necessarily have first in, last out standards like we clearly have in North America.
And look, I get that it's tradition, and these traditions were made before this was a made-for-TV product, which it is right now. So you have to gear things towards that. And I'm not talking about, oh, Bryson's at 7 under and Rory's at 1 under. Oh, let's throw them out in the final group and skip 8 guys. No. Like, if there's 3 guys tied at a certain score, just pick whatever the optimal TV group is going to be.
You know, if the networks can do whatever they want with guys with the same score.
That's my entire case. That's all I'm asking for.
And I feel like we did this 7 years ago, and we agree. I think I totally makes sense. I know it's like a totally different argument, and we talked about it a bit on a Cuss Corner, but it's a TV show. The same way, bring that girl to the Olympics. It's a TV show.
What else? The app? The app was actually pretty good. Give credit to the US Open app.
The app was great. Even here in Canada, like having the feature group channels, which usually in Canada you have to go through like a third party, even from the tournament apps, which I loved. I was watching those featured groups. It's probably why I watched maybe every shot Rory took in this entire tournament. The app was good. Yeah. And it might get better with the I had the word for it earlier, but when they have the sites that they keep going back to, like, there's just infrastructure that over time they're willing to put in.
The last thing before we get to the Travelers, this was the best major since what? Because I have 3 that stick out in my mind as like the best majors of the last like 10 years kind of thing.
Well, I thought that we had that great back 9 duel with a lot of guys at Torrey.
Oh, I didn't even think about that one. Yeah, that one was a good one.
There were a lot of great names, Bryson, Rory included in that, but there were like 4 or 5 big names. And
Rahm, Louis, and Morikawa were there as well. I was thinking Phil and Kiowa.
Yeah, fun.
Tiger Masters.
That's like, it's almost its own category.
There was the Molinari at Carnoustie, just with everyone at the very top of the leaderboard, and you had no idea who was going to win. And Tiger was involved in that too, which was really nice. There was one other one now. No, I had it at the top of my mind. Mainly this one, it was another one where there was a bunch of people, and my guy actually won, but there was no fans. It was Morikawa at Harding Park. I just thought that was a fun Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of good names, quality names on the weekend. Yep.
So those would be the ones that pop out to my mind immediately.
I don't know that I have something else. Like some of the Brooks ones feel like they were just kind of lopsided. Although Bell Reeve, the fun one that Tiger.
Yeah. But Brooks
was
won
a
that
little
by
more fun.
He won that by Brooks was like a runaway
Yeah.
win with that though. It was kind of like the Rom Brooks last year at the Masters, and the weather kind of fucked that up where everything just it all happened on one day, and by the time we really got to the meat and potatoes of the Masters, Rom was just winning.
Yeah. I love even last year's PGA, like Vic fought with Brooks to the end, but it doesn't hang until he got, I think, in the bunker there. But it doesn't, I don't think I've got one that tops in terms of the overall list. You just rang.
Yeah, and Bryson v. Rory is just a great story. I really wish that Bryson, I mean, he did go out and beat Rory. I wish that if Bryson was going to win that, I mean, I did kind of want to see the playoff, or Rory doesn't miss that putt on 18, but Bryson goes and birdies it or something like that and just takes it from him. Because it feels like it kind of sucks that Rory gave it to him in the end.
Sucks. I like to be on the. I was emotionally invested in. Dustin had won at Oakmont yet or no? Probably not, right?
He won in 2016 at Oakmont.
So that Chambers was before that.
Yeah, it was the year before. He won the next year.
Yeah, and then Oakmont was the squirrel, and it was like the blind squirrel finds its nut, and that spoke for a year, and the squirrel found his nut at Oakmont. So that was just the most soul crushing. It would have been the full day Monday of Spieth versus Dustin, but you're right, and I haven't read the decomps of yesterday. I don't care to. Some people have posted articles and there's like a blurb at the top before I'd click on it, which I don't have the courage to do. But I saw Ben Cooley, I think, wrote a very thoughtful piece that I haven't read, but just seeing people's responses to it. Because I think Rory hit 3-wood on 18 all week, Pat. And he probably knew Bryson, had that putt on 17 and was probably going to hit his own driver on 17. And he probably felt he really might need a birdie too. So that's probably why he pulled out driver on 18. Not that it matters. He missed the 2-foot fucking putt. Like, whatever. Even like, yes, he pulled out driver trying to be aggressive. In the end, he ended up having the 2.5-foot par putt to save, which is okay. Yeah, you take that every day. So I don't even know. Who gives a fuck?
I mean, you had to take out driver. The two guys that took out driver the most and hit it the straightest and longest all week were the two at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, I know. I just remember from earlier in the week, I recall a lot of 3-wood on.
Okay, you done with the U.S. Open?
Yeah. Do you have any thought on Scotty? I'll just get to it when we bring him up here, as he's like 5-1 or something.
Yeah, well, let's move to Travelers. Yeah, because at the top of the board, going up just outside of Hartford, Scotty is plus 360 to win this week. He has longer odds this week at the Travelers than he just did at the U.S. Open.
He
had a bad week. Happens.
Yeah, bad week.
He was Andercursed.
Andercursed is just super chalky. Maybe people who hit their Bryson bucks. Like, they're just like, why not? I'll go on Scotty. He had a bad week. There's rough on this course. Scotty was apparently, I wouldn't say complaining, but he didn't enjoy the waste areas. He'd rather hit it out of rough. He just couldn't get a feel, couldn't find it, putted horribly. The course never spoke to him. He cut his hair, just a lot of mistakes. But he got no, he didn't even miss the cut. So I was going to say he got Father's Day at home. He probably feels good. Yeah, I don't know. He's still the man. Still scared shitless of him. I still, like, when I look at the losers I want to bet, I'm not necessarily worried about other guys. It's just Scotty.
Sure. So Rory's still 7-1. Xander's 7.5-1. Do you think Rory shows up to this? He's got it, right?
I'll tell you why he's got to, because I think there's rules on elevateds, and I believe he skipped Century. So, I mean, he could pay a fine. I don't think he gives a fuck. But this is his baby. Like, I am a bit of a, like, for all my Rory fanboying in the last bit, I kind of hold Rory responsible for, in some ways, for the schedule. And these, like, super stacked elevated events, this comes from the mindset of the ultra elite player who just wants to play in bunches and then get time off and then play in bunches. He's got to play because this is his schedule. He's got to play. Also, both emotionally and financially, I've been on the US Open beats that were so bad, neither guy stuck around to get his silver medal. Because I remember, I remember Dustin's empty chair like a sore thumb.
Do you want to bet any of these guys at the top?
I don't want to bet anybody.
Really?
Well, I will, but in this like moment, there's no line that's like, oh, I want to bet him. Can't wait. Firing.
I mean, Scotty's two problems at Pine made 4 birdies, I think, all week, which is just not going to cut it. But dude couldn't read a putt to save his life. Like, he putted horrendously. And he was just tugging the ball left and ended up in the wiregrass all week. Not something you normally expect from him.
What's his track record here?
I think he only played it last year. Let's see, where's old Scotty at? Trying to look it up right now. Scotty was T4 last year, T13 the year before, T47, and missed the cut in 2020. So he actually has played it each of the past 4 years. The 2021 was the one coming out of COVID, the one that Dustin won for us. That was the best run we've ever had on this show, was coming out of COVID.
This is true. That was a great Travelers. I haven't done it yet. I'm not doing it now. And last week it was fun. If you built the card last week, there was a good chance you might have had some fun. The card builds. I have as much. Well, I'm not. Well, I say right now, I'm just not in the mood for it. The funnest part of my week in terms of golf, Pat, is like building the card. And I'm still not where I want to take that away from me. So I'm going to build a card, and I'm not betting Scotty or any of his friends at the top. But out of the majors, I don't know. I feel like when we had the elevated out of majors, like the guys who are playing well are continuing to play well. And we shouldn't be surprised one bit. Rory's going to win. I just can't bet. I'm not betting it. Like, I'm just not betting it. The number's too short. I'm not betting it.
Yeah, there's a couple guys here. I think you could do different things with the card this week if you really wanted to. Like Xander's plus 750. I hate that number, but I do really like Xander here.
He's won here. Let's do this for a moment. Xander Schauffele was incredible this week. I think he had his C game. And he really, I don't know what he finished with. It's always sort of a blur once he got off the score bug. DFS is still legal for me, so I'm not like deep sweating guys finishing their rounds when the fun stuff is happening. What did he finish? Even par?
Yeah, he finished T7.
Incredible! You watch this guy. He was off the map. He could have had He could have had Victor's score on Thursday. He could have had Victor's score on Thursday. He played with Rory. And I watched it all. The guy was incredible. Saving par, didn't hit a single fairway in the shit. The fact that he held on, Xander probably might scare me more than anybody now that I'm like recapturing it in my head for how well it felt like, how well he scored based on how poorly it felt like he was playing. Now, there were moments when he was pin seeking, but other than that, Xander was in shit for 4 days and he finished 7th on that course. He might be playing as good as anyone in the world, clearly.
So the other guy's right after him. So he's at 7.5 to 1. You got Ludwig and Morikawa at 16, Victor at 20, Cantlay at 25, then Sahith and Hideki both at 30. I was thinking about Victor here because Victor rebounded nicely on the Friday. This is a good course for him, I think, where he can just kind of go pin stock around the green. Doesn't really mean much here. Driving, irons, putting, he can do all those things. But is this just sort of because we did this with Ricky last year when he ended up winning at the Rocket Mortgage, where you just saw it coming with Ricky all year. Like, Morikawa's got to win soon, doesn't he? He's just at the top of leaderboards. I know he ended up finishing here 11th or 14th last week, but he kind of clawed his way back into it when he was out of it, and just the results continue to pile up for him. That'd be weird if he didn't win at some point this year.
Totally. Great. Like, there are comps to the Ricky thing, minus like Ricky's was like a much longer, more extended layoff. It for him not to win would be shocking. It's almost like even crazier. It's crazier than Remember Hatton last year? Like like it's even crazier than that because Hatton it felt like was just statistically amazing, not necessarily results based. Morikawa feels like it's both, except he can't get that win. As someone that I don't think I've bet him, like I could step in right now, get just to step in as it happens would be fun. I don't mind your thoughts on Victor. I will say, as it pertains to Ludwig, Pat, I think this is important. We'll probably get a true. Well, there's just questions about his health. So let's just, if he plays well again for this event, then I think you need not to worry at all about that going forward.
There is something to worry about Ludwig this week, though, I think.
Scrambling?
Cursed.
Did I lose you? I lost my video.
Nope. No, you're still there. Ludwig is Cuss Pickett for one and done.
Shit. Okay, whatever, yeah.
So, yeah, Xander, Morikawa, Hovland, obviously can't bet all those guys, but you could do... Oh, Cantlay just got bet down from in real time as I'm looking at it, 25 to 22. It's a great course for Cantlay, and he's actually playing the John Deere 2 weeks from now as well before the Open Championship. Would you go to him here as he found it? I know we just kind of ragged on him, but it's not like he doesn't win.
What a crazy situation, right? To go from the absolute comfort course of Memorial and do that. I mean, clearly no one's going to even consider you. If he's back, the number is fair. I mean, Cantlay, like good Cantlay is always in this range, probably even shorter. I don't know that I am willing to bet that he is back.
Okay, let's go to the 30 plus then, if these guys do not intrigue you. Brian Harman is 40 to 1. Would you pull the trigger on him here? He actually had a pretty good week at the U.S. Open, and this is like his jam. This is his course, and he's never won here.
Meh.
Because I was thinking about a card of maybe one of those top guys, be it Vic, Xander, or Morikawa, one of those guys, and then picking off Harman, Henley, Tom Kim, basically calling it a week.
Harley. I don't see straight on Harman. Again, he's on my list of I'd be happy to never see you win again. He putts with a kitchen table. I don't see clearly on that. So I'll circle back around it when you tell me it's a perfect course fit for him.
Well, it's just, he's to go and look at what Brian Harman has done here over the years has been, I wouldn't say it's incredible, but I remember he got outran by Bubba. Well, I think he's got outrun by Bubba twice here over the years. This used to be the Bubba Jam course, but I think he has the most strokes gained of any player over the past 5 years, and it's basically just top 10 is the bet for him, just because that's what he does here every year. Let's see. Last year, 2nd, the year before 8th, the year before 5th, missed the cut in 2020, the year before 8th, the year before 6th, with another 3rd place finish. So he basically just comes inside the top 10 every year at this course.
See, for me... And Henley is I don't know what to say. You want to bet Henley? You want to bet Corey Connors? Model will tell you to.
Yeah, I get that, but I just think that, and maybe I think it goes one of two ways with Henley. Either he wins this week or he's just an absolute travesty this week because everyone is going to be on Henley.
And my counter to Henley is always the same time people ask me about Henley. And sorry, this is just how I cap. It's not methodical. I've got my own losers to bet. I'd rather bet Corey Connors. I got my own losers at the same price. So I don't know that I'd be there. Going a bit down though, Pat, I've seen Finau as high as 40. And maybe it was a mirage. Maybe the fact that it was tougher last week in some ways plays to Finau's into Finau's hand. But I don't know. I didn't think that felt in that sort of mid-range. That's what kind of called to me as maybe it's just my perception. But I do feel like when we've exited these big events and gone right into other big events, we're just seeing a lot of the same names. We're just seeing a lot of the same names. There's always one or two guys of turnover. It's just been the same guys. And maybe that's unfair. Maybe that's just me. Like, well, your sample size of fucking Scheffler and Morikawa and Ludwig, like just being on the leaderboard for the last 6 weeks. Like, what does that mean? You're probably right. Nothing. They're consistent as fuck. All of them. But if I had to pick someone who finished short, which I like their line, I don't know, be these higher end Finau numbers. And I'm a little bit surprised you didn't mention Matsuyama at all as even any consideration, but if you're going up lower, then maybe that's why you're just out of this 30 spot.
That would be the thing. If I construct my card with how I talked about it, I think I'm out of this range. And listen, Hideki, the one thing that worries me about this course for some of these guys, and listen, they can all do it in any given week, is you really do need to putt here. You have to basically make everything inside 10 feet. And what you just described about Finau, the harder course tended to work to his advantage, even when you take a look at the strokes gained from last week, who Xander and Finau were the two worst putters who finished inside the top 10. Everyone else gained a bunch. Rory ended up bleeding some back over the final 3 holes, but still gained 2.5 strokes putting for the week. That at a course where you just need to stick your approaches, which he will do, but also convert those putts at a very high rate. I worry about it at the price. But you might be right. He might be the play.
I don't have any interest in going much further. Like, I don't think I got like zero interest, I feel at this moment, in anyone north of 50-1. Like, it's not getting to these guys. Maybe, sorry, that's a lie, because there's some Keegan and Tom Kim back there maybe could talk about.
I like Tom
Kim.
I don't think I'm betting Tom Kim this week.
Yeah, I don't think this is getting away from the class players. What's the best number you've seen on Tom Kim? Because he looks like he's ready to have a summer. He looks like he's ready to have a summer, Pat.
55 is the best number I see on him right now.
And you would are you taking places because the good players are playing?
Yes, I would, but I have to. They haven't released the numbers on my placement site yet, so I need to see what the numbers are there first.
I think they just released.
Well, okay, let's just continue the show. We can talk about that after. The other guys that when I did the research show that kind of popped up, Bez, obviously. I'd be somewhat interested in Harris English considering he has a win at this course as well. And then Seamus Power rated out really well, who I don't even know if he's in the field or not, but yeah, he is. He's 180-1. Probably not going to bet him to win, but it does seem to line up for him pretty well. And he's played well
before.
Yeah, I'm sure he has, but he's played well in the elevated events recently. Not so much the majors, but he played well at Wells Fargo. He played decently at Memorial. He played really well at Heritage. That he's playing a little bit better than I think that people realize for a guy who's this far down the board.
You pack your placings.
I mean, that
smirch it.
Like we'll do the best bet show this week is coming out on Wednesday. We flipped it with the DraftKings show because Tambo has to because I'm going away, so I need to record early with Tambo tomorrow. But I think on the best bet show, like Seamus Power top 20 might be a play, and that probably ends up. What?
I died in the best bets show last week. Like, I love Cam. I know Cam. I've probably like hung out with him off the air more than anyone like listening to this right now, and he'll still say things. When he's like giving you credit, it's like your newsletter is great. I love the newsletter. But when he's like, I don't know how you guys create these apps. Like, he's like, I don't know how to log in. Like, he thinks just to log in again to a newsletter. I just love it. I just love it. He's truly the best. I was dying. I was in stitches. That's all. Sorry.
Do you have
great show? Best bets tomorrow.
No,
Wednesday.
There you go. It's going to be Vincenzi because he's like won 6 figures or something like that. So we need to have him back on to brag. It's going to be Vincenzi and Raza. Got to get those Northeast guys.
Credit to everyone who bet on Bryson. You crashed your Bryson. A lot of people, even with the futures, even I think someone showed me like a 50-1, 45-1 that they made the week of the Zurich. So even not that long ago, there were extended. I guess anytime before the PGA, there were Brysons in the 40. Congrats to any of you who hit it. Our boy Powers, he's now taken Tim's throne as he claims he's the big game hunter. And I don't know that anyone can step with Vincenzi right now. I will say in the same way I wanted Rory to win so he could shove it up Monahan's ass, even though the USGA has nothing to do with Monahan, I just felt like there was a link there. I wrote Matt this morning. I congratulated, like, what an incredible hit. What a holy shit. And I joked with him that because I actually tweeted it to him also. Action Network dicked them around last year. So fuck them. Good for Matt. Epic miscalculation by those guys. I'm sorry if those are your friends, Pat. And I don't think they care, but whatever.
Michael Thorbjornsen's in the field this week too. So he won the the college rankings race and gets a PGA Tour card for the rest of the season. He's played in this event before and come fourth. That was 2 years ago. Missed the cut last year. He's played in Dubai each of the past 2 years with the top 20. Like, he is the new Ludwig. He's the new Victor. And we've heard this name for years because we've seen him pop up. But now he's a full-time pro. He's in this field. He's 130 to 1. Do you have any interest in him? These guys win right away, right?
Not in these fields. If this was like the Canadian Open, because he also showed up in Canada last year, or this is next week, yeah, 100%. We'll ride. I will even ride in the same way when Ludwig jumped in and it was like a lower end field and the odds were like 60 to 1. People were like, that's crazy. That's too short. I will bet the short Thorbjornsen odds at the Jabroni Fests coming up.
I mean,
John Deere, Rocket Mortgage. Where's the other one? The other one in Detroit, 3M, any Jabroni Fest. Any number. I'm blindly in on Thorbjornsen.
So I've already recorded my Rocket Mortgage preview show, but I don't know what the field is. If he is in that field with the way that field shapes up, he might be 25 to 1.
I get, like, who is... Have you even looked at, did you look at commitments?
Yeah, I looked at the commitments. The only commitments, the big four commitments are Ricky, Tom Kim, Taylor Moore, and Will Zalatoris.
I love Taylor Moore as a big commitment.
I mean, he is. He's like one of the players who's in this field who will be playing next week.
That is next week, Pat. We get that Wheel of Losers is coming out to play. Let's go.
Yeah, no,
I'm fired up.
You can bet Noren at 16 to 1 next week.
I can't wait. I actually really wish we were dealing with like that part of the golf ecosystem today. I want to be dealing with those guys. I'm going to bet Tom Kim.
This week or next week?
This week. Next week it'd be 12 to 1 after he wins this week. So we're going to bet Tom Kim this week. I really liked him all week. I thought he struck it beautifully. Big summer coming.
Did Connors end up making the Canadian Olympic team, or did Hadwin fend him off?
Connors finished 9th. Connors is going to Paris. Will we be betting Connors in Paris?
Probably, yeah. I think he's a good fit for a guy who's probably longer down the board.
I don't know how long, but yeah, it's locked in. Wyndham got people are upset Wyndham's going and not Bryson, but I don't think Bryson was eligible.
He just doesn't have.
Yeah. So I didn't. Not gonna lie, I didn't delete Twitter off of my phone like I did when the Chargers lost to the Jags, but I really wasn't surfing the web last night. I wasn't, but I did catch confirmation Connors is going to Paris. No Jessica Hadwin in Paris.
Very quickly, I didn't realize LIV Nashville is this week, but it is. So 3 weeks in a row for some of these LIV guys. Bryson's the favorite at LIV Nashville at plus 750. Neiman is plus 850. And Rahm is 10 to 1, who I just assume is not playing in LIV Nashville. So you can get some decent numbers. There's no way Bryson wins in Nashville this week, right?
I mean, Bryson is probably going... There might already be picks on the internet. I assume he's going to... There's a good chance he's doing like the Good Morning America circuit today.
Yeah, it's not like
that whole
and it's not like he
Empire
wins on LIV
State
anyway.
Building. He's gonna ring the bell at the stock exchange this week. Like, this is Americana for the guy. He's gonna. I'm not like, you don't withdraw from LIV, even though the Saudis probably would after what he just did if he truly wanted to. But yeah, I don't. He's gonna show up and he'll put a show on for the crowd. But I wouldn't want to bet him. I wouldn't want to bet him.
And
I got one Open Championship future, and it is Neiman 100-1.
Good. Do we just bet Neiman plus 850 this week then? Because Rahm's probably not going to play him. Bryson's probably not going to. I mean, he probably will have his head in the game, but it's not like he wins on live anyway. So just bet Neiman.
Yeah, your favorite site has him at 11. So
boom, there we go. I think that might be the route that I take.
I don't know what. Do we know the course? Probably it's the Grove. Is that like that's probably like the famous? That's like the famous Grove that we always hear about.
It is. No, I accidentally clicked on Live Golf Houston. Let's see here. Go back to the Media Hub. View Media Hub for Nashville. Yeah, the Grove is the course. It is a par 71, 7,300 yards. That's all I really got on it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't really know much about it. I feel like if it's the course I'm thinking, it's just I don't know whether it's got like a high-end membership or it's gone viral for guys playing match games there or something, but I feel like it's got like a bit of a American golf. It's a known place. Like course people are going to be like, you're a loser, you don't know that, but whatever.
Quick picks for the Travelers and LIV Nashville. I'll bet Neiman at 11-1, I guess, at LIV Nashville. And I'll bet Tom Kim at 55-1. We'll see what the placings do on that. And then I have to really kind of think about how I want to construct the rest of my card. Because I could see myself going like Xander, Harmon, Tom Kim. And that's my entire week. I could go Morikawa, Hovland, Tom Kim, and call that a week. So there's a lot that I can kind of do in the middle of this. But Tom Kim for sure at 55, Neiman for sure, and then I'll play around with the rest. What are you thinking?
I like good players, so I will have to make a decision. But sometimes I'd rather double dip than go to the super top. And it's a mix of Morikawa, Hovland, Ludwig. I don't know that I want to go to the super. And then in the middle, I would say it's Hideki and
Finau?
and Tom Kim. But we didn't bring him up at all, Pat. And he lingered through the week, and you're talking about having to hit all the putts. He started slow. I'm seeing Sam Burns at 40-1.
Yeah, I could see it, and that's kind of the right type of course for him, right? And when you know what, Sam Burns actually makes a ton of sense because when I went and looked at like where like the crossover is between Travelers historically and some of the other courses, it was Riv, it was Phoenix, and it was Valspar were the three that really stuck out. So Sam Burns has played well at most of those. Maybe
He's
that's
just
the
a
play.
guy that, yeah, he couldn't get it going bigly over the weekend, but for how he started, he seemed like he hung on, and for how you've described this place. So Sam Burns 40-1. I mean, you could even get placings on that because most of the places with placings have it shorter. So it's not bad. I won't be playing the placings, but that could be something I'm looking at. Finau, Burns, Tom Kim are sort of the guys behind the top. And my demarcation point is like the 50s, 60s. I'm not going beyond there. My loser of choice would be Corey Connors over Russell Henley if I got into the loser portion of the board.
One and done for the Travelers. I bested you last week with Morikawa over Brooks. As mentioned before, Cuss has taken Ludwig Oberg. I will take Xander Schauffele because I have not used him yet.
Like maybe I actually have used him. Cantley?
You have Cantlay available. You can use him.
You know what? Screw that. Sam Burns if I have him.
No, he missed the cut at the Valspar for you.
Of course he did. Sure. He's playing well. Maybe he'll play well. I'm not cheering for him though.
Okay, there we go. That will do it on the Pat Mayo experience. Use code Mayo at Underdog Fantasy right now for a deposit bonus of up to $250. Are you excited for people to watch the Custys, or are you a bit nervous?
I'm always nervous, Pat. Like, I'm always nervous. And I think what people don't respect is the internet lives forever. I'm the one with 3 children, okay? So I got there's more on the line for me in terms of what, at some point they might want to watch these things.
I'll have to go scrub them from the internet by the time they're of age. Maybe I can be retired by then. We'll hit some sort of, I'll win like 3 Millie Makers in a row and you'll never hear from me again. But if you want to catch up on all the old Custys awards, the fifth one dropped this morning on the Cust Corner exclusive feed. The sixth one from last year will drop on Thursday, so you can go catch up on all of those. Just search Cust Corner on Spotify or Apple and go subscribe to that. They're all up there. Or you can just watch them all on the Mayo Media YouTube page.
See, Tim's DMing me stories about people chasing Rory's car. Fuck off.
Smash the like while you're here. Use fantasynational.com/Mayo to get yourself 20% off. And that will do it. I'll be back tomorrow with Tambo breaking down the fantasy props on Underdog, DraftKings lineups, and trying to finalize some of my bets. So you tune in, all right? I'm Pat Mayo. I'll see you next time.
Pat Mayo Experience! Experience!